Hey y'all, that's another gorgeous Texas Hill Country evening, and I wanted to do a quick video for y'all of some reasons why you should not get a Cane Corso. I got my first Cane Corso Aussie here about 4 years ago. He's 4, and I learned a lot with Aussie. And I want to share some of the things that I learned along the way, and just thinking about it, why, like, if you're considering getting this breed, some reasons why you probably, or why you might want to rethink it. Some things are deal breakers for some people, and other things are not. So number one is probably you already know, even just by looking at the dog, is that they're extremely strong. Extremely strong. They are, strong, that's an understatement. The dog is a beast. And so, now I don't mean just physically. The dog, the breed, Cane Corso, is extremely strong-minded, strong-willed. So they're going to test you every step of the way. And so the thing is, if you're not a strong leader, this breed will walk right all over you. They will literally walk all over you because they're very dominant. This is a very strong, dominant breed. And so that plays into that you have to be a very good leader. And if you don't establish that you are the pack leader from day one, like I said, they're going to develop and just walk right all over you, because they do have that tendency to be dominant. If you have any kind of hesitation about, you're not sure, maybe I'm not the best, strong leader of a pack, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, it's not a dog that you want to get and learn on the fly, how to be a pack leader. And because if you just experiment and not sure from day one, if you don't set the ground rules from day one that you are running the show, that the dog must respect you. If you don't command that respect with this breed, they will walk right over you, and it'll be very difficult to reverse any bad decisions that the dog has developed. So number one, they're extremely strong. I'll give you a quick example of that. Is I knew when I first got Aussie, of course it's a strong breed. I knew that, but I didn't realize the extent to what that meant. So I was walking with him. It was just him and Tux. Tux is my pit lab mix there. So I just had these 2 dogs. I was walking with Ozzy. Ozzy was an adolescent, so he was about, I'll say maybe like 7-8 months old. Walking with him out in public around dusk, around this time. And the deer were out, of course, around this time. And Ozzy got wind of a deer. And I'm walking him on the leash, and in a split second, my chin is on the ground. I was like, whoa. He just completely took off after that deer. And, and he's not even a full grown at that point. Of course, I weigh 130 pounds wet. So, but still, even if you're a strong man, that dog can still pull you. And so number one is to not underestimate the strength of the dog. If you don't have the command of the dog, like 100% command of the dog, I think you're very liable to get hurt. So I did get hurt. I had like road burns on my chin, on my hands to break the fall. But actually that was lucky. It could have been a lot worse. I could have broken a bone. If you're an older person, and the bones are more brittle, unless you have like a extreme control of, you can have control of the dog. It's probably not recommended because they are so prone to injure, even accidentally. So the dog will, Cane Corso owners know this. Anytime the dog is running, like playing or running around you, they always kind of bend at the knees and protect their knees, because I've had this happen to me where they just kind of bumped into me, and it almost gives you an ACL tear. So the strength, number one. Number two, the dog is extremely territorial, and that goes along with it being a protective guardian breed. So just by nature, it's going to want to protect its property. So it's very protective. Come on, Oz. Come this way. And so, so that can be a good thing, and it also can be a bad thing, which plays into number one. If you don't have complete 100% control of the dog, then what can happen is that a family member or a neighbor or anybody that walks into your home that the dog is not familiar with, or even if it is familiar with that person and doesn't like that person, that's a threat. That's a danger. You could have a very dangerous situation on your hand. I can give a personal example of that. My nephew was visiting one time for Christmas. He's military, and Ozzy had just briefly been introduced to him in the home. And anyways, we were chit-chatting in the living room, me and the rest of the family, and my nephew got up to go get a drink of water or something, and as he sat up from his chair, Ozzy lunged at him and barked. So it was a warning to him to sit back down. He didn't like that he was standing up so quickly and so close to me. So I don't think anything would have happened because it was just a warning bark, but each Cane Corso is different. You never know. So there's that, let's see what else. So very territorial. Also the Cane Corso is not very dog friendly. My other Cane Corso Dolce, the female, she has attacked my neighbor's dog. Actually, before this fence was put up on my property here, I bought this house as it was being built, and so I had to fence it in. But before it was fenced in, Ozzy, come. The neighbor's dog wandered onto my lot, and Dolce, because she's territorial, because she's defending her property, what she knows to be her property, she attacked him. So she's attacked a dog, two different dogs twice before, and that was also when she was an adolescent, still under training, But come on, Oz! Come on, Oz! Come on, Papa! Come on, Papa! So that's territorial. The dog being extremely territorial. You can't just take it to a dog park per se, and you can't just freely walk into PetSmart unless you've really done a lot of work with it. So that can be a huge deterrent for someone to get, if you don't have the time to train the dog. Man, I tell you how much work I put into Ozzy to train him to be not dog aggressive, because he was dog aggressive. Now he can tolerate dogs, but it still takes me, it takes a lot of leash work for me to, if he sees another dog in Home Depot, I still have to, be on guard that he's not going to lunge at that dog. And he won't if I tell him it's okay, but still, it's a lot of work. It's not like owning a different breed where their first instinct isn't to kill that other dog, But I'll give a quick example on that point. I was, again, when Ozzy was an adolescent, and This was my first Cane Corso, so I'm learning. At the time I was still kind of learning, but I was walking with Ozzy in a neighborhood at the house that I sold. It was a, suburban neighborhood. And Ozzy sees this other German Shepherd dog that is barking at us from inside the window of the house. And again, Ozzy just broke from the leash. I was holding him and he just broke from the leash and ran to that window, and the window cracked. So both dogs were barking at each other on either side of that window and busted the window. So because he's territorial and he's guarding me as well, he's very protective. He saw that German Shepherd dog as a threat to me. So I had to really train him to look to me for to let him know when there's a true threat. So that's the number two, is that they're extremely territorial and protective. Again, a plus and a pro and a con, but really it's a con unless you have a handle on it. Number three is they are very messy. You're gonna have drool everywhere. So they don't drool all day long constantly, but they do drool often in certain settings, like when they've been running, when they're hot, when they're excited, when they've just drank some water. That's the worst, because they also have water dripping down. When they're eating, when they see something good, they want to eat. And the thing is that when they're drooling, they shake their head. Their jaws kind of shake, and the slobber like goes flying. I have seen drool up on my ceiling, 10-foot ceiling, as an example. So the drool for some people is a deal breaker. For example, my dad, he's a retired veterinarian and worked on farms and delivered calves, so nothing really grosses him out except for the drool. So the drool was a deal breaker for him. Come on, Oz. Come on, Papa. And so when they're eating, they're gonna get food everywhere. So dinner time for me is a big ordeal when I'm feeding the dogs, because they just get food everywhere, because they're think about how big their jaws are. So even the biggest bowl that I could find is really not big enough to contain all the dog food. So I got to spend a good 15-20 minutes just cleaning up after them. And some people prefer to feed their dogs outside, but I don't want to attract ants if I miss a piece of food that's left outside. So I live out here in the country, Texas Hill Country, and we have a lot of, I don't want to attract rodents or anything like that either, so I don't feed them outside. Let's see what else. So, So yeah, very messy. Could be a deal breaker for some people. The drool is just something that never goes away. It's going to be there. Sorry, it's getting kind of grainy because it's dark outside. I might have to go inside. Come on, let's go inside. Let's go inside. Come on, Papa. And let's see. Oh, the other thing that you might not want to get. No, this is big. This is big. This is actually something. This is actually, come on, Alice. Something I didn't think about. I didn't really consider before I got the breed. Come on, Alice. Come on, Papa. And that is, hold on, let me just get in the light here. Go inside here. And that is, I gotta turn the lights on in my house. I'm just getting home from work. See, there we go. We can see. See, hi, Papa. Because this dog is very bonded to its owner, to the person that raised it. They bond so closely to one owner or one family that It's even been called the Velcro dog because it wants to be close to its owner at all times. I mean, that plays into it being a protective dog. So it wants to know your whereabouts at all times. And of course, that's not practical, you know. Come on, Oz. So, come on this bed. Come on this bed. Good boy, Papa. See, so what that ends up doing is it makes it very difficult to leave. I've got it down to where I'm able to distract him, you know, and I don't really struggle. He doesn't struggle with separation anxiety as much on a daily basis. But what I'm trying to say is it makes it very difficult for a couple reasons when you have to go out of town or on vacation. Vacation is very difficult with this breed for that reason, because, you know, if the dog will really may have anxiety, you know, if it can't be by you for a week or so, or however many days you're going to travel. But really the big reason that this can pose a problem is that it could be very difficult to find somebody that can watch this breed. Now, this is a very powerful guardian breed that some people just flat out may not take this dog. Many kennels will not take this breed, especially if it's not neutered or spayed, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's really not recommended to neuter a male Cane Corso for health reasons, and it's not recommended to spay a female younger than 2 years old. So that's a huge problem. So even if you did happen to alter the Cane Corsos, some places just flat out will not take this breed. But then there's the whole being not dog friendly. So if you can't just take it to a kennel unless you've done lots and lots of work with socializing it to other animals, other dogs. So already you can see it's kind of an issue if you ever want to take a vacation. So say no, that's all well and good. You found a kennel that will take it. It's still a liability. It's still a risk because, you know, you don't know how they're going to treat this dog. I've heard horror stories of they even put an e-collar on the dog and the dog got injured. But the other thing to think about is say you have a family member or a friend or someone that you know, even someone from Rover, you know, from one of these pet sitting services, come and watch your dog. Are you really going to trust that person to walk your dog? You know, like if you live alone, like in an apartment or townhome, it's really not recommended to get this breed. But if you do, and say you need someone to walk him while you're at work, that's a very scary proposition because they may not be able to. Like they may not be. It may happen what happened to me, where they're walking it and your Cane Corso sees another dog and bolts. You know, it's a huge liability that you won't have with other breeds. So so there's that, you know. And so even like in my situation, you know, I occasionally will have my family members, one of my family members graciously offered to watch my dogs. But even then, Dolce, my female Cane Corso, has injured my mom accidentally just by, you know, her huge paw when she was excited and she went to say hi to my mom. And then she drew blood, you know. So that's the thing you have to consider is it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. The dog can really hurt somebody, even something as, you know, minor as the dog wanting to say hi, or so accident can hurt them accidentally, or can hurt them if they're not very familiar with that person. You know, if you just have someone come to watch your dog from a pet sitting service and they've only met your dog once, for example, it's very risky to even even after they've met your dog once, if you're not in the home, that is very risky for you to have someone come in, even if you've done an initial meet and greet, because of how intense this dog is with protection and guardian. It's just in their DNA. It's what they were bred to do, to guard and protect. So anyway, not to discourage anybody, but I wanted to be transparent about it. I've been posting a lot of videos on the Cane Corso, all good things, just to showcase how magnificent this dog is. The breed is just absolutely stunning, and very desirable in a lot of ways. But I don't think I really, that I really went into too much detail about all the cons that people might not realize, especially as the breed gains popularity. People think that he looks cool or whatever, and it's a nice dominant guardian breed. The dog also, I just wanted to throw in there that because they're Velcro dogs, they're very attached to their owners. It's not a dog that you can leave outside for long periods of time to guard, like a Great Pyrenees. Those dogs are very independent. For example, they don't really require being with their owner for long periods of time. But the Cane Corso is different. It wants to be by your side 24/7, and it would if it could. But so they're not necessarily just a guardian. An outside guard dog. They're not made for that. See, hey, Papa. But yeah, all in all, I'm very happy with this. I'll never own another breed. I love pit bulls too, but I'm always going to have a Cane Corso. But it was a steep learning curve for me. I should do a video of all the mistakes that I've made, mistakes and lessons learned. But there are some of them that I threw in this video for you there, some examples. But anyway, comment down below and share your experiences or your questions, concerns. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Say bye, guys. Bye, y'all.